Crazy, crazy for only. Okay, Detective Scott Claus of Westfield City Police Department told them via email that he had referred the case to the FBI and ICE because he suspected there was false age reporting prior to her even leaving the Ukraine. Look at this crazy. It's crazy. See, this is why I'm saying, I don't mean no be disrespectful. Just like for every good story you have about an adoption, there's 5 horror stories out there that the media and other people don't want to share with you. Take it from me, because I know. Same thing with these animals that they get from these shelters, or they'll try to shame you because you want to continue your dog's bloodline because you're familiar with your breed, you're familiar with your dog, and you know they're going to get old. They have a certain window that they can breed. I would rather have a dog from my dog and raise it from a puppy. But most people will try to shame you for that. And then they'll have you going to the shelters and picking up one of these dogs from Ukraine or Mexico, anywhere that they will never have the history of. This is the same phenomena. They do it all the time. It is just such an exploitive type of hustle. Anyway, Klaus died of cancer 4 years ago, but Captain James Lilly, a former colleague, told the Daily Mail that while he vaguely remembered the case, he did not think that the FBI had even pursued it any further. This person, they're blowing a horn now. In June 2012, the Barnetts successfully applied to Marion County Superior Court in Indianapolis, Indiana to have Natalia's age corrected so she could receive the appropriate psychiatric treatment as an adult. In documents seen by the Daily Mail TV, Judge Gerald Zorn accepted the couple's allegations were true and revised Natalia's date of birth to September 4th, 1989, changing her age from 8 to 22. At this stage, Barnett pointed out that Natalia was considered an adult by the state of Indiana and was legally responsible for herself. Even so, the Barnett said she and her husband rented an apartment for Natalia when she was discharged from the secure psychiatric care in August 2012 and placed under supervision of state health care providers, Aspire, Indiana. They further helped her to get a social security number, apply for benefits, food stamps, and an ID. When Natalia caused problems at the property and was evicted, they stepped in again to prevent her from being homeless, renting a new apartment for her in Lafayette, Tippecanoe County. Barnett says she was communicating daily with Natalia and even came up with a plan for Natalia to enroll in college to get her high school diploma and study cosmetology. I've been taking care of you here as an adult, and I will do it for 1 more year. And financial aid, the exact same thing I'm doing for all of my children, she said. I co-signed the lease and I paid the rent for up to 1 year. Wow, that's really a blessing. Most black families not even able to afford that. To pay their children's rent for a year to get them out of the house. Anyway, I co-signed the lease and paid for rent up for a year. I did everything you would do when you send your child off to college. I helped her with her groceries and I bought furniture at Target for her. I was so optimistic. She had a concrete plan for her life. She had food stamps. She had Social Security income and that was for the rest of her things. She had demonstrated she was able to live. By 2013, Barnett had published a memoir about Jacob, now age 21, entitled The Spark, a mother's story of nurturing, genius, and autism. That same year, they moved to Canada so that Jacob could attend the premier Institute of Theoretical Physics in Waterloo, Ontario, leaving Natalia behind at her rented apartment. By then, though, however, Barnett said Natalia had vanished and stopped returning her phone calls. Barnett told Daily Mail TV that she feared Natalia had stopped taking her medication and was probably posing as a child again for another unsuspected family. Dang! I had found a little pink dress in her closet and a little pink bicycle parked beside her house, she said. I would have forced her back into treatment, but I couldn't do anything because she was an adult. She discontinued communication with me. What I did get was a letter in the mail stating that she had changed Michael from the beneficiary of her Social Security income to someone else. The last time we spoke on the phone, she told me she was cooking spaghetti for her brand new family. Oh my God. So I did not abandon anyone. I went to Canada to further my son's education. These accusations are absolutely devastating. The Tippecanoe County Sheriff's Department, oh my God, meanwhile presents a very different version of events. September, and they probably lying because they just want to pass the buck and get it out of there, put it out the system. September 11 affidavit of probable cause obtained by Daily Mail TV states that an expert at Peyton Manning Children's Hospital named Dr. Riggs carried out a bone density test on Natalia in June 2010. It concluded she was aged approximately 8 years old. A further skeletal test carried out 2 years later at the same facility concluded that she was about 11 years old. The affidavit reveals that it was Natalia herself who told the police in 2014 that she had been left alone when her adoptive parents moved to Canada, with cops concluding that she was a reliable and credible witness. It does not explain, however, why detectives waited 5 years to put the allegations to Michael Barnett, who had divorced Christine by 2014 and remarried and settled back in Indiana. The document says that when an officer spoke with Michael on September 5th, he admitted he knew all along that Natalia was a minor child when she was allegedly abandoned. However, his Indianapolis-based attorney Terrence Kennard denied that his client ever made such an admission of guilt. The police affidavit is not true. Michael never ever said that he knew Natalia was a child. Police knocked on Michael's door and spoke to him for 3 hours without an attorney present. The statements he gave were clearly taken out of context. My client and I have absolutely no idea why the district attorney has chosen to level these accusations against my client and Christine, who have both moved on with their lives. The affidavit has been very selective in their medical reports and that it had chose to cite. As for Natalia, neither the Barnetts nor their attorneys nor seemingly anyone else involved in this baffling case appears to know her whereabouts. And despite the possibility that she is now 30 years old, Natalia's full court records will remain sealed until a court decides otherwise because adoption cases are treated as confidential. She last saw her adoptive father when the final chapter in her painful, confusing relationship played out at the Tippecanoe Circuit Court in 2016. There, a couple named Antoine and Cynthia Mans unexpectedly applied to become Natalia's guardians, which meant proving that she was a minor and restoring her original birth date. The Barnetts filed an objection, claiming that Natalia was an adult. Records are not publicly available, but Daily Mail TV, Daily Mail TV has established that a judge ordered a fresh hearing to establish that Natalia's age, with Michael Barnett and a number of experts giving evidence. Natalia was living on her own, and the couple wanted to be her guardian, thinking that she was still a child. Ooh. Okay?
Yucky.
It's saying, wait a minute. Oh my God. The couple tried to overturn the 2012 results, explained Michael's attorney, Kennard. This time, the hearing was even more depth. Not only did the judge look at the medical reports and other documents, but witnesses came before the court to explain why they were certain that Natalia had been 22. The judge upheld the original results, and the couple dropped the guardianship petition. They better be glad. The most disturbing thing about this is that Michael told me the police investigator who is heading the latest allegations against them was actually present. Asked the Tippecanoe County Prosecutor's Office in Lafayette for comment, but no response. The chief prosecutor, Jason Biss, responded, pursuant to Rule 3.6 and 3.8 of the Indiana Rules for Professional Conduct, a prosecutor is prohibited from making extrajudicial or out-of-court statements, including public comments, which would have prejudicial impact on the case or the defendant. I would defer you to the comments of the public record, namely filed probable cause affidavit. With Christine and Michael Bennett both vigorously proclaiming their innocence, it's a question. It's a question that will likely not go away. I've been cooperative this whole time. I've been truthful with the people the whole time, says Christine, choking back her tears. Being that I am charged in the state of Indiana for crimes against a child, when the state of Indiana has determined multiple times that she is an adult, is mind-blowing. From the day one, this was a mission of love. But when you bring a child into your home and you expect them to be a child, that's what you expect. To be accused of this is so unconscionable to me. It's just horrifying. Christine Barnett surrendered to authorities on Thursday, September 19th, and was released after posting a $5,500 bond. Her ex-husband, Michael, surrendered to Tippecanoe County Jail in Lafayette on September 18th and was immediately released after having his mugshot taken and posting a $5,000 bail. He is doing court in the hearing at Tippecanoe Superior Court on yesterday, actually, September 24th. And I'm going to keep an eye on this story and see where it ends up. But I just really want to know y'all opinion about this, because this is too crazy. It is insanity warmed over that you could bring a person here and the history of that person is so vague, and you could think you have a dwarf in your home, and again you have an actual adult in there just as old as you. And guess what? Had they known, just like in that movie, they might not have even exposed it had they known it in the first place. I'm talking about the Ukrainian government. They may not have even exposed it if they did know it. That's just a chance you take. With that being said, it's really just horrible. It's a horrible story. Anyway, I thought I'd entertain y'all with that from the Daily Mail today. And leave your comments below. What would you do if you thought somebody was 6 years old and you actually found out that they was 18 or 20? Would you give them back? Would you abandon them? Oh my God. I'm sorry. Y'all leave y'all comments below.